Hello good people in YouTube, LuckyMees205 over here, and this time we are gonna review one of the Sakura Empire oldest carriers available, and you can actually grind it today from the map 3, chapter 4. Aircraft Carrier Akagi. Now, as for her history, as usual I'm gonna do with the reviews, we are gonna talk about her historical references, if there is any, and the origin, and of course, in this case, I want to talk about her history in the game, in a nutshell, as in simple way and short as possible. As for the origin, well, historically, I'm gonna say this very simply. I don't know where to start, so I'm gonna start with the simplest way I know. First off, her history is something very interesting. Was it 1920s? The Amagi class battlecruisers or battleships. Amagi had a little sister ship named Akagi, and Akagi is originally a battlecruiser slash battleship. But because of Washington Naval Treaty, she was planned to be converted into aircraft carrier alongside with Amagi. But Amagi hull suffered very intense earthquake disaster, which then led her to be scrapped, and Akagi is the lone survivor of the Amagi class. And then once the retrofitting was complete, the Akagi entered into service as one of her class, Akagi class aircraft carrier. Now, there is a lot she has done in the history, bombarding few ally bases here and there, but I'm gonna keep this as short as possible because there's also part of the story in the Azur lane itself I want to mention. So in 1942, the Battle of Midway, if I recall correctly, she was struck by US Navy airplanes, dive bomber was it, in very crucial moment, which then led very devastating damage to the point she couldn't be rescued. And she was float until some of the, if I recall, and if this information is accurate, she was then torpedoed to the bottom of the ocean by her own side destroyer ships. I don't know, I don't recall their names, but that was just a quick trip of Akagi in historical way. But how is she in the Azur lane history? Well, this is something I actually wanted to point out more. And this is just a quick summary about Akagi in the game. I wanted to actually write this down. Akagi's quick history in the Azur lane game. The first, I don't know why it's translated to instance. Let me warn, this is somewhat badly translated, but I wanted to warn beforehand. The first instance is the main campaign, an attack of PH Harbor, along with Kaga, Soryu and Hiryu. And for the last time, chapter 3, Midway Showdown. But in the Visitors Died in Red event, it seems to have somehow brought Akagi and Kaga back to life. An ancient event, the Crimson Echoes, shows that she had a big sister, Amagi. and Gaga was originally a battleship, but fate forced her to accept being an aircraft carrier in the future, and Amagi was the first ship girl to die of her own illness. And so Akagi changed and began to build his own future, which along the way eventually led to some kind of mental corruption, which almost destroyed the whole world just to bring his own sister back to life. Thanks to the commander, they defeated Akagi's meta-persona, or ghost, and brought him and Amagi back to the real world, and Amagi back to the books of the living. Since then, she has been on some kind of punishment journey. She relinquished his own high position and has ended up in a place where Shinano and Musashi are living for now, and Yamato is said to be lurking there, and they are keeping an eye on Akagi for as long as they want, or have agreed. But this is how I understood his current situation and remember it from 2025. What Akagi does now will be a mystery for the future. She does appear in another Azur Lane game, Azur Lane Cross Wave. There, she is on more active role, but you can watch that story from the video list I made many years ago. Now that was a quick summary, I wanted to actually point it out, about Akagi, and she goes very long way. And how is she in Azur Lane 2026? Well, first of all, she's an old ship, but being just old ship, original ship, I want to point out her design, character design. I absolutely love how simple it is. And that's the beauty part of it. Now as for her stats, if I can, there they are. In level 125, she has 6,746. It's not impressive, but if you oath her and gear and tech development, well, I forgot the name temporarily, apologies. They also increase her own HP all the way to 7,123, but I think there is still more ways to go, or it is maximum, I think. Affinity level 200, so I guess I actually maxed out her HP. Her aviation 415, her anti-air 330, reload 132, her evasion 56, her armor is medium, speed 31, accuracy 92, her luck 42, and her oil cost 13. Now of course, if you oath her and there's a fleet technology evolve, you can improve these stats. As for her skills, Preemptive Strike decreases the loading time of this ship's first airstrike by 50%. First of all, that's a good start. And then, first carrier division, when sorted with Kaga, increases this ship aviation by 35%. As for her equipment, her fighter slot, she gets 3 fighters. Her efficiency is 125%. Her second slot is dive bombers. She gets 2 of them, 125% efficiency, as well as torpedo bombers. She gets 3 of them with the 125% efficiency. Now, as for Alchemy module, she doesn't have any yet, but perhaps in the future. I pray she gets one of them. Now, she does get some kind of special equipment, well, auxiliary, excuse me. Echoes of relinquished time. Aviation increased by 20. When equipped to Akagi, increases tissue damage dealt by 12%. The first time tissue launches an airstrike during battle, increases her detection gauge value by an additional 50. 45 seconds after the battle starts, this ship loses 300 HP and her detection gauge value will be reset to 0. Yes, sacrificing HP, I'm not really a big fan of it. But it is what it is, it seems. Now, as you can see, my equipment, she gets Type 0 Fighter Model 52. Type Armor is SP2C Helldiver. That's Eagle Union type. And as for the Torpedo Bomber, is HEB7A Ryusei. I think I pronounced it correctly or wrong, apologies. And Sakura Empire Torpedoes is being known for packing quite heavy punch. So that's fine. Well, main module is not fully completed, but once it's completed, I think she could benefit from it. As for her skins, however, she gets very decent amount. First of all, what is going on? Wait a minute. Game. Thank you. Not the archives. Well, we got an aspect here. She gets really good amount of skins. The beach skin, Paradise Amarillo, Bloom and Snow was this New Year skin. And this is some kind of party skin as well. Ruby Lace Beauty, very fine skin. And her first Live 2D skin. What's it the name again? Dawn Phoenix's Summons. Now this is fine, I find it myself really captivated by how really good skin this is. And of course there's Precipice of Sweetness. And Oat Skin. And I have to really give some credit to the artist, he has done a really good job. Or he or she, I don't know, the artist. Now then. Despite some really good stuff, there is some things I want to actually say about my opinions in the next review, coming right up. But the fleet I'm gonna use her is packing Gaga, carrier version of Amagi, Shimanto, Isuzu and Noshiro. The reason I'm gonna keep the Vanguard like this is because, well, I want to level up some of my Sakura Empire ships, and Kaka and Amagi, they are important to Akagi, so why not? It's good to have you sisters together once in 100 years. As for the next part of this video, my voiceover part and my final thoughts about Akagi. Alright, shipmates, voiceover lucky mies over here, lucky man. And now, Sakura Empire aircraft carrier Akagi. Now, to be fair, she is quite old and original, and as for her skills, she is surprisingly very simple character to play. Now as for the aircraft I used her while I was doing this background footage, I realized that despite her having that 125% efficiency in her equipments, this overall results actually could affect by what type of planes you want to give her. And with that first carrier division skill, when sorted with Gaga, increased his aviation by 35%. And preemptive strike decreases the loading time of this ship first airstrike by 50%. Yes, if you have right planes and right equipment, she could be effective. But if you make auto run like I do in this footage, I did, they can miss. What do I mean by that? If there is like one enemy and you send all your planes to the one enemy, it gets sunk. And after that there appears to be more than 5 enemies. And now you have to wait surprisingly long time to actually get your planes ready and make the next strike that could have been used in that one enemy. So I highly recommend using her as a manually played. Of course you can use her in the auto run if you want, but I would personally use her, well, in a situation I see fit. Like in Operation Siren. She works there surprisingly well. It depends on the equipment you have, the planes you have in her, and the what type of fleet you run. Are you running with her? It also affects the performance of Akagi. And speaking about the fleet, I have Kaga and Amagi Carrier version sailing with her. So it's very nice to see these three together once in 100 years. There's that. And when it comes to the lore, well, there is more to it, but that requires a lot more research. I did add some couple screenshots during that really quick lore review of Akagi. And she also appears in Queen's Order manga series, as well as Slow Ahead Azur Lane manga series as well. Perhaps a couple of times in Queen's Order and once in Slow Ahead manga series. But she did appear. Now I have to be honest, I haven't used her much ever since I started to use Iron Blood fleets only. And I have been using her very rarely because of that, so... But then again, just reading the skills and her stats, she is very simple after all, and in the end of the day she is very simple to play. And you can actually build some very decent fleet around her. Of course, in Sakura Empire nowadays there are many heavy hitters that could outperform Akagi. But what's wrong using her once in a time, was it? Is it? Anyway. Now I have to confess one thing. This is my third attempt to make some kind of ending for this review video, because one, I actually did some quick research about my memory sounding the notification about the past, what happened to Akagi. And let's just say that once I learned what the government of certain country did to the Azur China server, and the law of that country also affected Akagi, and was it 13 others ships, including Scharnhorst and Graf Zeppelin. And that information alone changed my opinions to the point that I have to try 3 times to make this. So okay, I'm gonna put it as softly as possible. 3rd times in a row, right? If the country has the law that affects your company's business ideas, and it actually, that law is affecting the characters in your game, it affects the business and character development, and probably some other stuff which I'm not big fan of it. And so those are the reasons it took me 3 times to actually make this final analysis. So yeah, not big fan what happened to Akagi just because of the real life law of a certain country, which I am not big fan in any sense and any way possible. There could be many things for Akagi, but now that I know who is causing the Akagi to be what it is today, yeah, there is slight anger behind my thoughts what happened in the past 4 years ago, despite that in today 2026. And yeah, my thoughts, well, my blood is boiling just for the thoughts, I'll say. Now then, if you are like somewhere Japan or English server player outside of Chinese servers, congratulations! You actually have very passionate character in your fleet. And although she wants to burn everyone who tries to take you away from her, there is one thing I actually read about the story that said, was it, if I recall correctly, give her every passion to me, I can fix her. So that's Akagi in a nutshell. And how should you try to treat Akagi? And I'm pretty sure you can actually manage that very well. No doubt about it. You are a commander after all, so there is no doubt you can actually handle Akagi very well. Okay. Is there anything else I want to say? Augment module could be very interesting. If that augment module could increase her playing efficiencies, like somewhere 145% threshold, that could be nice. 125% is like, well, it's suitable, but it could be better. It could be better. But anyway, it all depends what type of equipment you have for Akagi, because that alone also affects Sakura's performance. The best planes you can find from Sakura Empire or any faction, because she is not faction bounded, so she can actually fly any type of planes you want, as long as it's good enough. And what else? Akagi meta. That character is actually found anywhere in the game files, according to the Azur Lane wiki. Now I want to say though, to my future plans, if Akagi meta ever happens, you can bet I will make a review video about her right away once I get my hands on her. And because Akagi was in the past as a battle cruiser, perhaps Akagi meta is battle cruiser or aircraft carrier, I don't know. But it could be interesting concept to have Akagi battle cruiser, since we have Akagi aircraft carrier. But that depends on what type of ship the Manju wants her to be. And that depends only on Manju. Will there ever be a battle cruiser Akagi? That would be nice. Or aircraft carrier meta Akagi. That is optional. But a battle cruiser? I really want to bet that she is going to be in meta form battle cruiser. Because why not? She was originally to be a battle cruiser in history, but then she was retrofitted to be aircraft carrier. That would be interesting concept to work with. And what type of skills she is going to have. And how powerful she could be. Of course, metaships can be somewhere lackluster, but they focus so much on barrages. Perhaps Akagi meta be heavy barrage stealer and very interesting skills that increase her efficiency. I don't know. Just speculating at this point, so I'm gonna end here. Now then, my final opinions about Akagi. She is a very good ship, although the real life laws have affected her character growth and perhaps many other things in the game, unfortunately. But if you have your hands on Akagi, congratulations. Now I'm gonna end this right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care.
これぐらい当然ですね。